Good morning. I would like to talk to you today about human performance, influence, and leadership. And the question is, what can you do to improve your performance and the performance of others in these areas? What are the fundamental skills involved in leadership and improving human performance? The way I like to pose this is with a rather simple question. It's a long question, but it's a simple one. Imagine if you're in any kind of situation that requires good human performance, if you were to gather and manage the right information, if you were to make the best decision based on that information that you could, if you were to communicate persuasively to enlist the help of the stakeholders that you needed help from, if you were to manage performance so as to get the core performances that you really need to carry out what you want to do, to get the results you want to do or to acquire, and you were to have the ability to innovate, to come up with new solutions as you move along, where could you possibly fail? Now, in our view, the answer is you couldn't. Because if you were to do those 5 things, if you were to gather the right information, if you were to make the best, most rational decision you could, if you were to communicate persuasively to enlist help, if you were to appropriately manage the performance involved in the core operations that you need to carry out, and if you were able to innovate, then you would have covered all bases. Because those 5 are the fundamental skills, the fundamental processes that all human performance is based on, and that therefore all leadership involves. So if you're trying to teach leadership, you really need to start with those 5 fundamental abilities, with those 5 fundamental skills. Because in each case, there is a great deal of skill to be acquired. We do all of these things. We gather information, we make decisions, we persuade other people, we shape long-term performance around core operations, and we innovate more or less intuitively. And these things come natural to us as human beings because, in fact, our brains and our bodies were sculpted to do these 5 things and to do them in a particular human way. But the problem is that the way we do them intuitively is not suited to the challenges of modern life. What we've learned in research, and I'm talking about lots of research in the last, say, 30 or so years, what we've learned in our research is that people are not intuitively good or at least up to modern requirements in any of these abilities. We don't always gather the right information. We don't always make rational decisions. We don't always persuade effectively. We don't always know how to manage performance long-term to make our core operations work. And we don't always understand how to innovate effectively. So by harnessing the research that we've developed, and I mean we being thousands of researchers around the world, especially in top universities, and research centers, if we harness this research, we can learn to do much better jobs at what we actually do day in and day out, which I would argue, and which my faculty of about 100 top professors at various universities, mostly in the United States and in Europe, also believe, which is that if we harness those skills and hone them based on the research, we will do a much, much better job of leading other people, and we'll ultimately be much more successful. So what we've done at Ivy League Executive Education is to build a basic curriculum composed of 2-day programs that addresses each of these skills or processes that are essential to leadership. The first is called Decision Making for Senior Executives, and in that we deal with all of the things that you can do to make better decisions. We have a program called Strategies of Persuasion and Executive Influence, and that's the program that teaches you how to enlist the help of others, whether through massive campaigns of persuasion that you see in marketing or in electoral events, or whether it's face-to-face persuasion. We have a program called Maximizing Individual and Organizational Performance, which deals with how do we actually get human beings to perform at their best and to do so long term, so that little by little their performance improves up to the point where they're nearly as good as one can get in whatever kind of performance we're trying to shape. We have a program called Promoting Creativity and Innovative Culture, which has to do with how as individuals, how as leaders, we can be more innovative and how we can help other people come up with innovative solutions. Finally, we have a program which teaches executives how to use information to do those other four things. Information is really basic to understanding leadership. No matter what we're doing, we can't do a better job than the quality of information that we use to do that job. Information is key, and so we have a program called Value Creation Through Informed Leadership. And there we look at how you collect information in individual face-to-face encounters, how you know when people are being sincere with you, how you know that information is valid, how you use other people to acquire information, and how you use technology to provide information. So we have a 5-part curriculum that can help any executive do better what they all already are trying to do, which is to be a good leader, and what it boils down to is being a good leader in one or more of those 5 senses. So that is the way that we focus on leadership. It's new, it's innovative, and it's based on some of the best research that's available in the area of leadership, and it's taught by top experts from Ivy League schools in the United States or from top European institutions, including Oxford, Cambridge, and some of the other top Russell Group schools in the UK, and some of the schools on the continent as well. Mostly what we have is the best speakers talking on the best research topics that can help leaders most effectively in their efforts to lead their organizations to greater success. So thank you very much for listening today and watching, and we hope to see you at the Ivy League Executive Education Leadership Series. Thanks so much.